3000.
What is doing? My name is Maloney. This is the 3000 podcast. I'm joined today by an artist, designer, illustrator, Nathan Nankervis. Thanks for coming, man.
What's going on? Thanks for having me.
Is there anything I missed?
Cool dude. No, I don't know.
And cool dude.
Yeah, just creative human, I guess.
Creative human. All right. Well, it's going to be interesting, man. I'm going to talk about some of the cool brands you've worked with. We're going to talk about your artistic journey. We're going to talk about a lot of interesting stuff.
Yep.
But let's start at the beginning, man. Where did you discover art?
Dude, so way back, I think when I was just a young kid, my first interaction with creativity was my mum would always eat violet crumbles.
Can you just bring this a bit closer?
Yeah, sure.
Just you can move it to where you want to be. Just aim it at your mouth. That's it. Yeah.
How's that? Yeah. So mum would. My first memory was my mum would eat a violet crumble. On the back of the wrapper there was like a Spider-Man competition as a kid I was always drawing Spider-Man, Bart Simpson, Dragon Ball Z, and she encouraged me to enter, and I ended up winning. And that was the first time that I got rewarded for doing something creative, which kind of set it off early on in my life. I'm actually I like drawing or creativity. Fast forward to
How old were you then?
dude, kid, probably primary school prep something. Yeah,
but to
real
win
young.
that, it's probably a national competition, so it's pretty big.
I don't know. I don't really remember. I just remember because I've got the prize still. It's a giant Spider-Man bust, the whole head of Spider-Man. It says 1996 on it or something, and it's glows red. It's still dope. It's really awesome, and I still got it. So that was early on. Then fast forward to high school, got to you got to put in your university, what do you want to be? Preferences, whatever. And I just remember dude, what do I do? I don't really like school. I was always fucking around. I didn't take it too seriously. And I was well, I guess I kind of like Viscom. Viscom was my favorite class, so
that's what a lot of artists do because you don't really know where to go.
I had the pressures you got to get a job, you got to make money. So I'm well, that's the funnest of all the classes, for it. So enrolled in that. I was too slack and late on the whole thing. So Swinburne didn't require a folio, so they let me in. I got a pretty bad answer score, but the lower than what you needed. But they still let me in. It was sweet. And then as I was going through uni, all my design briefs, I would just start responding with them with characters. If you needed a logo, it'd be a little cartoon guy, or there was just all the briefs, cartoon-esque characters would start popping up in all my responses. So then, I kind of felt that I could see something happening. Meanwhile, I was also I was a little bit of a hustler, so I was before I was always buying and collecting sneakers before that, buying, selling, and so
What kind of sneakers?
Nike SBs, Nike Dunks, just all Nikes essentially, and so little Reebok pumps at the time.
Yep.
I still got a couple of them, Jordans. But so when it came to I was in uni, and I was within the first year of uni, I already started my own freelance design studio, Nathan by Design it was called, and I was doing my own clients and stuff, which is just my dad's mate. I made him a brochure and just started small, but I was more fascinated with that than I was on the uni work. So I was doing little just doing little jobs, and just learning. I remember coming into class and being I'd already had to teach myself the things that we needed in class, how do you select Pantone colors? I'm I already had been asked to do that through the client work and stuff. So I'm okay, cool. I guess I'm going pretty good at this.
Well, you've had lived experience when at school all they're doing is teaching you what you might encounter when you're actually living it.
For sure, and some of the class it was 20th century design and all this reading and writing, which I'm still hopeless at. Never finished a book in my life. So those things I struggled with, but I did love having my own freedom to just do my own thing. And then so I was doing that, and after a couple of years of doing that, I was young. I wasn't the most emotionally intelligent, as in clients would keep saying, like my real world clients would be like, you know, make it purple. I don't want it yellow. And I'm like, I have all these reasons why it needs to be yellow or whatever. And like, I'd break it down and they'd be like, no, just get rid of it. And so that a lot of my favorite designs kept in the scrap, like the rubbish bin. And then it just kind of, I organically started transitioning out of just nuisance. Like, I'm just fed up. Like, I didn't know at a young age that like, this is a business. Like, you're making a logo for this person that they have to live with the rest of life. You don't get a shot. I was looking at it from
an artistic
my heart.
perspective.
Yeah, my heart and soul goes into this. I spent so many hours, and like, I study this. Like this, I do the vision. You're
Client's always right.
Yeah, it's like you're an accountant. What would you know about the drawings and or logos and color or whatever? So I always had that friction, and so that kind of pushed me into like digital illustration, I guess, because my mindset was, you know, if I don't do graphic design, if I'm an illustrator, no one can tell me what to do. Like I'm drawing pictures. Like you expect me to, you know, crazy colors and yada yada. So moved into that area, and again the same thing started happening. Like I was a digital illustrator at the ABC. That was my first real job. That was like when I was like 26 or something.
So
but,
let's not gloss over that.
Yeah.
A digital illustrator at the ABC. So is that motion graphics?
No, it's just like I work with like a team of like 12 journalists, and I would just create the images to their stories. They'd go out and write stories, and then be like, sometimes it'd be photographs, sometimes it'd be illustrated little cartoon pictures and stuff. But yeah, that was my first job. But yeah, anyway, yeah. So then,
But that's super interesting, I think, man.
yeah, I don't know. It's just, to me at the time it felt like I was in a corporate job. Like
Yeah,
it wasn't
it is.
really. It was.
But it's a great way to learn.
I learned so much. Like before that, I was driving Uber full time. Like for like 2 years, I didn't own a car. I was living at home. Like it was just. I went from that, like, you know, artist life, bummy artist, to then corporate, moving out of home, living in Smith Street, like full. Yeah, just remember corporate life. Like I had a little lanyard with a little key pass here, and I'm like, what am I doing here? Life. It takes you on a funny journey. Like when you chase.
But in hindsight, you're glad you did that now.
So glad. Like I learnt about the world through that. Like I didn't even like. Yeah, I didn't know anything about politics. I didn't know, and like they're having debates every day at lunchtime, and like it just was. It was just an intense growth period for me, which I didn't even know. I was seeing it as like, get me out of this, like just the artist life, like going broke a couple times, and just the stress and like because that was before that job. It was working in KFC when I was 15. Like I've been all in on this pursuit since I can remember. And I remember just to get that point, I kind of felt like I was giving up on my dream to just get a paycheck to like. You know, at least, you know, I want to buy my mum some flowers for her birthday type thing. Like, and I want to go on a holiday. Like, I hadn't gone on a holiday for ages. So it was just, I just wanted to fix up my life a little bit. And so I looked at it from that frame of.
It's temporary.
But also like, get me out of this. Like not defeat in my pursuit, but it was like, far out. It's not going the way I want it.
It's a speed bump.
Yeah. So I guess, that's why. It was just that's the lens I had. But then after, you know, being there for a couple of years, it was like, wow, I can bang out illustrations way faster. I'm way more professional. I can write email. Like all those skills that I now have came from that intense environment because you can turn it around in a day. Like
for sure.
Drawings.
And I'm sure working with these people that are probably older than you, and like you said, with a much more refined palette for what's going on globally.
Yeah.
You're probably like, we'll do this. And they're like, no, we need this. And so it probably teaches you to look at things in a different way.
Fully. And it just gave me an understanding of the world. Because we're just getting the latest. You're in the ABC. Like, you're getting the news, like, flowing through the organization. So, yeah, man, it was a super cool experience. But then, anyway, so how that ended up resolving, like, with our team. So we just started a new lifestyle, ABC Life. And I was, like, the designer for that, and then our team had to get cut in half. So I ended up putting my hand up to become redundant, and then I saw that as a sign. Like I just remember being like, I don't know, just feeling a little bit creatively uninspired. You know, after the 2 years, you get the fluorescent light above your head, you're in your little cubicle drawing around this day in, day out. And I'm like, man, I need something more. And then we get an email saying, yeah, your team needs to get split in half. Half of you got to go. And there was just me and another designer. So there was only two of us. And
scissors, paper, rock.
You kind of had to, well, everyone had to like, you know, say why they should stay and, you know, have those meetings. And I was just like, I'm out. And then I used that money. It was a pretty decent payout and went all in on an exhibition. I just went straight back to my old ways and went all in on my exhibition that I'd been planning.
Exactly. That's what I was going to say.
It for so long.
You had all that time sitting there.
As I was driving Uber, I would, every break between if the person was like coming out of their house, I'd pull out my notepad and I'd draw this exhibition. And I still have that drawing and it looks exactly as it was like 4 years later, like after Uber, after ABC, and then it finally happened and I finally had the money to do it. Because I got to a point when I was doing the Uber, I'm like, I've got the exhibition sitting there. I have no money to bring this to life. And then it was, I've got the money now.
I got the time.
But then I go into ABC. I didn't have any time, and I still needed to like progress this exhibition, like because I'm coming with new ideas. It's 2 years in the making. I'm like, I want to add this and do this. So I just had to like, I'd wake up and do like 2 hours before I go to work on my exhibition. So I didn't have time. So I had to make time, but I had the money. But I was funneling that in, building these artworks as I was working at this job, and then it just all came to a like explosion of like, done. You got the money, you got the time now. And so did that exhibition.
What was it called?
Smile. And sold out. And
where'd you do it at?
At Lamington Drive in Collingwood, which is Jackie Winter's like gallery. And
so you exceeded your expectations?
Yeah, blew me away. Like I didn't have any. I'd never done an exhibition. Like before that, I had been doing direct to like brands. Like I hadn't made art for people. Like it was just collaborations with just brands asking me to do things.
It's interesting because it's very digital what you did. So it worked with brands, but then for people it's a little bit different, isn't it?
Yeah, so that was the harder thing. Is like I had to try and figure out how to paint and how to draw on like wood. I did hand drawings, I did painting, and like really pushed me out of my comfort zone. I was even doing 3D like sculpture-y things that like on the wall reliefs, I believe they're called. But crazy. It's been a crazy ride of like just keep switching up on me like what the requires of me now.
So then you do that Smile exhibition.
Yep.
You realise, okay, I sold out. So you're like, do you straight away think, how soon can I do another one? How much? Or what's the thought process?
Man, my brain. So the way I think, like, I've got all these things I want to tick off and do before I'm dead. And it's like, do an art exhibition. I want to release a clothing brand. Like, I've got all these other things. So as soon as that happened, it was like, oh, done. I ticked off that one thing. And I didn't think further than exhibition one. I was just like, I have these artworks that would work perfectly as an exhibition. They were sitting on my computer for years. I'm like, I really want to do this. And that's just what I felt like doing at the time. As soon as that happened, I wasn't thinking too much of the second exhibition because it was exhausting. It takes so much like work to do that. And then not to mention like all the social aspect, and it was a lot. So I was like, I need to chill out on this for a bit. We'll go off and just continue making art and making things just for me, but not putting that pressure on myself to do this. And meanwhile, I'm still panicking. Like I've gone all in. I've spent. So I got I got my redundancy paycheck. I spent it all in the exhibition. Coming to the exhibition, I've got no money at this point in time. So I'm praying like, please sell. I don't know. I don't have a backup. I've just lost my job. And then, they tell me things are selling, but, you have to wait a month or so before you can get that check. So I'm like, fuck. And then, so I get that. I paid off, like, I was a bit in debt to my sister. Like, I was living at my sister's house. I sorted her out and just kind of was like, phew, I did the thing. And I was just like, sitting in that and I'm like, all right, now we figure out where we're going next. And I've been blessed enough and lucky enough to not have to have gotten a job since then, which is 2022. is when we did the exhibition, I think. So 3 years. And then to just just running and gunning, like still just going, figuring out how to play, like whatever that is. Like sometimes I'll get collaborations, I'll do some graphic design stuff. I'm just just working. You know,
So did that put with that Smile show,
Yeah.
that puts you on the map and sort of solidifies you from being a corporate-ish artist to being a gallery artist?
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know if you because I didn't really come up like the gallery artist. Like I'm not in too many group shows. I don't put artworks in I just kind of did a show. Whereas I don't know if you would consider. I guess you could. Yeah, I don't know if
So
that's
how
considered as like.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not doing heaps of I'm not putting things in shows. I just.
So how did you promote it? How did you sell it out? How did you build the hype to do that?
So people were following along my journey this whole time, like from uni, like towards the end of uni, we started getting these brands that were. I was still doing little art things like Bonds. I remember one time, we created a mural. So like there is my things are getting into public spaces.
Yep.
And I am doing art, but it's never been in a gallery, I guess. So there was, I was collaborating with brands. Like when I was still in uni, I think we had done, collaborated with Bonds and Heineken and Red Bull.
Are they just reaching out to you? Or you through an agency?
Nah, everything's me. Like
through Instagram?
Not even Instagram, just my website. Like I was very big on. The first thing I did in first year of uni was build my own website and like get it online, and that's how I started getting my first freelance jobs. Like some architect asked me to design a whole book, and that was like a 6-month project, and just continued on from there. Like,
so how do you get on the Bonds' radar then?
I think it's just a slow grind. Like I was big on Instagram at the beginning as well, like just posting like little cartoons and stuff. And I used to get huge reach because no one was using Instagram to post the art. It was just like, you know, your food with a shitty filter around it or whatever. And I was just posting little vector cartoony things. And each client just got slowly bigger and bigger. And I came from design, right? So I'm doing like, when I did that architecture book, there's still a clean, like a vector cartoon-esque like building on the front. So my style's slowly developing, and each client slowly gets a little bit bigger and a little bit bigger. So I think Xero, which is that like accounting software, that was one of my first, big clients.
They're huge,
to
man.
me, yeah. But it's still very corporate-y. It's Xero aesthetic, right? And then I'm slowly like.
They're
creeping.
like, make accounting fun.
Yeah, they literally tell me to do that.
Yeah.
It's like I was just slowly creeping my style out through these like projects and trying to push boundaries. And sometimes client cuts it down, but sometimes like, yeah, that's pretty cool. The clients just slowly got a little bit bigger and a little bit bigger and bigger to the point, just organically happened, I guess, kind of how you were talking about your podcast.
Yeah, it's interesting because you've sort of found yourself in that niche of, we've got a big brand, can you just help us make it a bit more fun and colourful? Because you think of something like Xero, it's blue and white, and I use it, and it's not fucking fun,
Yeah.
right? But they want you to bring some playful, sort of fun, happy aspects to it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is hard, I'd imagine.
And it's like you don't have an in-house guy to do that. You got an in-house graphic designer. Now they do though. Like now they're building. I ran into a friend of mine who was an artist. Like I think she works in Xero she does like cool paper art crafts. And anyway, she's an in-house making videos and stuff for them. So it's like they're getting worded up. Like you notice like Google or Xero and like there's all cute, colorful illustrations to be like, this page can't load, and it's got like little characters doing whatever. So it's like they're seeing that people don't want to just look at, boring screens. So
Yeah. So then where do you go from a personal artistic perspective, not just from the corporate-ish clients, but on your own personal artistic journey? Where do you go from there?
From at which stage?
From after the exhibition, and then you just keep hustling and making...
Yeah, because I think, it's more in the headspace of I've got all this work on my computer. I'm just trying to get it out, which was essentially what the exhibition was. That was 5 years prior. It's already done. Well, mostly done. I just try and work to get these things out. So now I'm at the point of, did the exhibition. People just weird art people started hitting me up, like people in the DMs, like getting like trying to get hands on pieces, trying to sell artwork and the big Melbourne tram thing happened. I did an artist in residency in the city.
So tell it none of don't gloss over the interesting stuff. So you did get to what's it called? Wrap a tram.
Yeah.
It's what is that? That's essentially what it is, isn't it?
It's a tram. Yeah.
It's a vinyl wrap.
Vinyl wrap. Yeah.
Yeah. So then
it's a campaign, I guess.
Yeah. So they hit you up, right? And so that I get confused just trying to wrap a sticker around a curved surface.
Yeah.
So I'd imagine the templates for that sort of stuff would be pretty out there.
It's actually pretty simple. Like they go through Melbourne trams, provide the template of the specific model of tram,
So
and you just drag it into an Illustrator file, and they wrap it. It's all done by Melbourne trams wrapping the things, and I'm guessing it's a bit of a heat wrap job where
So the template's there. You just have to
put the art in there,
and then you can then sort of 3-dimensionalize look at how that is sort of.
No, it's literally just a flat
like you unfold a box.
Yeah, you just see one side, and then you see the front, which is a little square, which is underneath. You can see the little windscreen wipers, the windscreen, and you got a little section. But
yeah. It's got to be cool to get your art on a tram.
It was awesome. Just heaps of people sending me photos and videos, and it did feel like it was been a dream. Like the funny thing about that story is I applied for Melbourne Art Trams 3 years before that. Each year, 2 years in a row.
So that's so tell us about Melbourne Art Trams.
Oh, so yeah, every I don't know if they still do it. I'm pretty sure they do. Every year they select 4 to 6 artists to get just trams running through Melbourne. Each line gets a new an artist. So I was always dreaming of that for ages ago and applying for it. I was working at ABC and I come home and create this design, apply it to the thing. You got to write a little artist statement with them. I didn't get it first year, didn't get it the second year, and I was like, damn. And I kind of gave up the third year. And then I organically worked with the Scape artist in residency. Can you bang out a tram design in 3 days? I'm like, yeah, what's this? We want to do just a crazy tram. So, yeah, and it's super awesome. Scape just want to let the artist do that. They just said, just put our logo on there and you can do what you want. So,
and it's full creative control.
Yeah. And it was done in. I was so sick, and it was done in a day or two, and there was no edits back and forth. It was just yep, sweet, we're running with it.
That's not normal. Yeah,
unheard of.
So
and it was just crazy cartoon characters everywhere, and and I'm lucky. I'd been working on those. I guess after that exhibition, I started working on a different style of alphabet, which is those cartoon ones you see on the tram. So the exhibition, I did sketched, kind of hand drawn ones. And then I started, all right, I'm interested by the cartoon style. What would this look like as real cartoon characters? And so I was working away on them. And then that happened, and I just had them sitting there. I only had a day or two to do it. So I'm like, I'll just drag them on there. That looks pretty cool. And then they're like, oh, sweet. It just all just happened. Just organically, weird things happen like that to me in this journey. There's nothing for ages, and you're questioning your whole everything. And then it's bing, and it's you just shot off into this world, and then they're saying you got to move into this studio, move your house, move everything. I lived in the city for 6 months. They gave me a little apartment, huge studio on.
Who gave you this?
Scape,
right?
As artist in res. So that the tram kicked it off, and then the tram happened.
They gave you an apartment to rent,
and they gave me an apartment that I was living in the city, and they gave me a massive artist in residency studio, which was it's realist. It's Swanson Street, realist. It's for a retail space, huge. I think it's a supermarket is trying to get the space or something.
So what does Scape do?
Scape is student accommodation, and
right.
they've got a younger demographic, and they want to be kind of. The way they told me is culturally pushing boundaries, kind of like a Nike, just doing cool shit for the sake of doing cool shit.
Okay.
And COVID happened, so they couldn't have that. It's mostly international students, so COVID locked down their travel flight.
They had real estate.
So they've got this space, they're not using it. They said travel's just been allowed now. Let's create a bit of a buzz, a bit of an energy, have a real artist living and working in here. The kids can come in, and we did workshops. We designed T-shirts with them. they toured me around Australia to like all the other scapes, because there's heaps of them. There's like 12 in Melbourne, 12 in Sydney. There's all over.
Right.
And so toured me around. We just met the kids and designed T-shirts like on my laptop and produced them. It was a crazy experience. And I'm only because I'm just thinking aloud. Like, what happened after the exhibition? I'm like, oh yeah, this shot me off into all this other stuff. And each time, like the first. Sorry if I'm jumping over.
No, but this is
just thinking out loud. Like the first, I actually did a group show, which I guess could be considered my first exhibition, where I got all my friends, assigned them a letter, and that was way back in the day. And then,
so you had 26 friends.
26.
Well, 25.
Yeah, 25 friends. Just 25 artists that I knew on the Instagram and whatever. But I remember the same situation. Like I went all into that, spent all my money, and then it shot me out to Nike hits you up going, hey, you're the letter guy. You just did this Letterman exhibition, and then boom, shoots you into this. It's like each time it's this big build up, you do the exhibition, and then it's like, shoom, shoots you to a thing.
And the lesson in that is, if you don't have a platform, create one. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of people, whether it's music, whether it's art, and they put their stuff out there, but create your own exhibitions. If you're into DJing, start your own night. If you're into rapping, go book a venue and put on your own show. Like do your own thing. If you just sit there in your room, people aren't going to come to you.
Fully.
That's what I take out of that.
And yeah, I think I agree with you. Like it gives back 2 times what you put in every time. But it's just the scary bit of taking that big risk. Like each time it feels like it's all or nothing. Like I'm going all in on this, and all you have is a hope. Like I hope this works out. And it always, like I've lived long enough to see a little bit of a pattern. I'm like, oh, why did I ever doubt like each time? But yeah, it's scary as shit when you do it, and you're like, you're exposing yourself to the world.
And that's it, man. Like by you doing that exhibition, Nike goes, you're the letter guy. If you just put stuff on Instagram, that's not gonna make enough
buzz.
No. So being out there and physically doing something will. And there's a lot of artists that are like very, very talented. They're just not good at putting themselves out there. And that's the hardest part.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
It is hard. And you're an artist. You spend most of your time alone in your room creating. Like you're not the most, outgoing characters. Well, most of the time. There are some that make the exception, but
I guess the people that do really well without putting themselves out there physically are people that just smash it on socials, which happens, but that's a hard game in itself.
Dude, and that takes away from the art. Like I honestly do struggle with the social game is just, it's because it's a whole job in itself. You just want to make the art, and then you put it out there, and then you're thinking like, what's my caption? What do people think of this? Like all that other stuff. Like you're checking your phone again. I'm like, yeah, it is genuinely very hard, and it's such a personal, emotional connection you have with your art. Then to just be like, just put it out into the ethos of like just the abyss of the internet.
Yeah.
And then someone's like, that's whack. And you're like, fuck.
But when it comes to interaction on socials, if people start to tell you that it sucks, they're commenting, they're building, that's better than 10 likes.
Yeah. I've learned this. I learned to accept, embrace it. And like, it tells you you're on the right path when you are getting hate, because you're doing something good, because no one wants to punch down. Like, if you see someone like, it does seem like, negative comments and things like, it is a sign you're going the right way.
And the best time in that sort of stuff is when your core audience who do like you go into back for you, right? And then the back and forth happens, and that's when the algorithm really kicks off.
Fully.
Like, man, you couldn't do what he's doing.
Yeah. But also some people can like not weaponize it, but like people create controversy for the sake of.
Yeah. So do you know? I think it's Louis Spears, the comedian.
Nah.
So what he's done, which is really quite funny and very witty. So you know the Hock Tour girl?
Yeah.
So that she got basically cancelled or cancelled herself or whatever because of the meme coin thing.
Yeah.
So she's come back onto socials, right? And everyone's hating on her.
Yeah.
But then this Louis guy gets on there and he's like, Hayley, we stand with you. Can't wait to see where your journey takes you. And then bang, people just pay out on him.
Yeah.
But he keeps doing it.
Yeah.
So then his fans now know what he's doing. So then they go back in to bat for him.
Yeah.
It's genius.
Wild.
Yeah.
It's smart. That's what they say. You just got to shake it up. Shake it up. But
And
yeah,
there's-
not for me. Not for me. I'd rather lay low and just do good work and hopefully the universe takes care of you.
And that's it, man. And that's a great mindset. The thing is, though, with really genuine people like yourself, even when you are doing the best and not being controversial, as you get bigger, haters just come out of nowhere, man.
Fully.
Like you can't help it, you know?
Yeah. You watch them. Like I watch artists that are slightly ahead of me. There's like one of my favorite, Stephen Harrington. He just like had a giant show, like a museum show, and like because I always thought he's one of my favorites, and yeah, now haters for hating on him now. I mean, like, why do you just keep drawing the same thing? Why do you do this? And I'm like, it does eventually happen. Like once you get big enough, then it's just.
But that's the thing, that people know you for the colourful vibes. But then if you go down a different artistic pattern, and they're like, no, we want the colourful stuff.
Fully.
Once you get to, you've got to be some sort of huge artist to be able to deviate from what people perceive they're going to get when they work from you to be able to change it up like that.
Yeah.
Because
Or you can kind of train the audience to like, if you do keep changing up, it's like, oh, he always changes up. Or like, I love like Politics Aside or whatever with Kanye, but like his albums going from like Late Registration to like Graduation to he does 808 and Heartbreaks, Dark Twisted Fan. They're all different sounds, completely different sounds, but they're presented in a way that's a body of work which you can
see
edit
him
a lot of
mature.
it. Yeah, and it's almost creating autobiography of his life through albums. And I think that's what I would like to do with my exhibitions, where I want each exhibition will be different in aesthetic, but it will be one experience. Do you know what I mean? And because I didn't become an artist to just do the same thing. Like I don't want it to be like super predicted. Like even if you do something so much, you know what it's going to end up with. If you use the same colors, use the same techniques, you kind of know the vibe. You can tweak it, a little bit.
Yep.
But I'm like, I get so, it's so playful and it's like, you're like a kid again when you're doing something completely different and it's like exciting. Every stroke or drawing or whatever is like, oh, what does this look like? Oh, and you're just you're present with the thing. It's not repetitive.
Yeah, and you've got to keep it moving if you're a musician or if you're a visual artist or whatever. You see it a lot. People they just go muscle memory back to what they know that works. But real artists are pushing where they don't know, the unknown.
And I think like, I don't know what conversation I was listening to, but yeah, if you keep doing the same, like if you put out the same album more than like, say the first album, you can do very similar. Second one, tweak it a little bit, but you do it the third time, it's like, you just kind of do like, I feel like you kind of do need to keep the audience guessing to some degree, or else you just kind of fizzle to just, I don't know, just rinsing the same
thing.
trick or whatever.
Like, I love AC/DC, but, we don't need to hear 16 versions of Back in Black. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it was sick and it's awesome, but then once you
because you'd never heard anything like that. And you're like, what is this? What is this person doing?
From a musical standpoint, it's a hard one because you look at a band that's been around for a long time now and that I grew up with, like Blink-182, right? So they make pop punk and it's popular. Then they get to an age where they're like in their 40s. They're like, I don't want to do this stuff anymore. So they mature. Then the audience is like, I don't know about this.
It's hard.
Yeah.
It's very hard. It's tricky. I don't know how to do it, how you do it right. But it is tricky. What about Andre 3000? While he's doing his flute album or whatever, it kind of paid off, kind of worked out for him. But I don't know if you want to hear it, Andre 3K at this age, rap it. I don't know. It's hard. He's
obviously making enough money off the royalties of the big records that it doesn't matter.
Set.
So he's set. I think he just doesn't have the self-belief. And I think he's probably a bit worried that he'll rap and people won't dig it. But it's a hard one, man. Like, it's why so many artists don't put out their second album for a long time because they start to overthink it.
Overthink it.
Yeah, man. Yeah, Andre 3000 is a funny one. Like, even before he came out with that flute album, I remember hearing people say they went to, like, not to me, but just seeing it on different podcasts and stuff, that they would go to open mic nights and he would just be there playing these bizarre flutes that he made and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And then, like, a year later, he comes out with the flute album, and you're like, okay, well, he's in his flautist period. Who knows, man?
Dude, I hope I'm doing that when I'm his age. I'm just changing it up, catching people off guard with just whatever I'm into and being pure, like being honest and pure to how you're feeling at the time. Don't force something because the audience wants you to do the thing.
Yeah. I think, with him specifically, after the huge success of the double album they did, like Speaker Box Love Below, I think they came out with another one which wasn't well received. And there was so much expectation. So I feel like he's scorned from that, that they're just like,
But it's also the move to quit at your peak, like, or just change it up completely. Like I love the English Office, like the TV show or whatever, and just do two seasons and just, that's it. Like,
and a Christmas special.
Yeah, or whatever. And then just leave it at that. Or even with Seinfeld, they quit it at the peak of their stardom, like the millions and billions of dollars they were earning, and they're just like, no, that was it. And, because you can't recreate that time and place and that thing. Like, everyone wants Andre to come back and rap and produce the same quality as that. It's just never going to happen. You're going to be underwhelmed either way. It has to be different because he's not the same guy.
Yeah. Yeah, there is no right or wrong way to do it. Like the Seinfeld sort of, walking out on a high note is a great way to do it. But it's also like you're always going to be, he'll forever be like answering people, when are you going to bring it back? When are you going to do a reboot? When's the reunion show? Blah, 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 blah. Fuck, you'd get sick of that.
Yeah, but just say never.
Just say never. Yeah, that's it. But that's the other thing, like with certain types of art, even with the reboots, sometimes you're just like, man, you don't need to do that.
Man,
you know what I mean? Like things...
It's like Lil Wayne's just dropped Carter's
I haven't listened to
6
it.
or whatever it is, or 7. I don't know what number we're at. It's like, I don't think we really needed another cut. Like, just some things need to let rest, let it rest, or just
It's sequels to movies. You're like, don't do that.
Yeah, where it's a money grab. You can feel it.
Yeah.
You can feel when it's a money grab. Anything creative is transmitted energy, and it's like you can feel what there's something that comes along with that, and you can feel when those movies are just taking the piss to get squeezing it for as much money as they can get.
Yeah, and that's an interesting thing, which brings me to the money side of it, because I see with a lot of artists, when they make their art for money, it can detract from the art they want to make. So there's two different schools of thought here. People that have a real job and then do their art for them, or people that go down the way of, I'm going to make art and I'm going to make a living off art, which is a hard one to sort of line to toe, isn't it?
Very hard. And it's like something, that I've, learnt firsthand of, like, because my whole career path is pretty much based on clients telling me not to do the things that I want. Well, to some degree, there are some exceptions.
The tram was an exception.
Yeah. But like, as in going from design to illustration to art is just me being annoyed of getting my ideas kind of, there's more fingers in the pie type thing. And because I've been all in on everything, I've had to just say, yeah, cool, whatever. I'll figure out. And I always create my own version. Maybe I'll put that on the website and the other thing goes out. But the older I'm getting, I'm like, now I'm separate. Like, I've done enough brand collabs, and like, I want even at the point the brand collabs, they want to alter and change things as well. So I'm like, now I'm just do my graphic design, get my money, and just do my exhibitions where I have full creative control. And I think it's a better way to do it. It makes your art better. Like, I was always battling internally, and like there was a lot of friction the whole journey up because of those, and it would rock my world, like ruin my world. Like, I'll be like losing sleep over like decisions people make that are just in a brand thing because their brand colors are this or whatever it is. And I'm like, oh man, this is more than, this to me. So I think, now I'm in the phase of keep them separate and have fun. Like, and I'm having so much more fun with my art, and not to get me wrong, like learning those business practices are so crucial, and understanding the business side of things is also very important for to be successful.
100%, man. And that's the thing with a lot of artists' shortfall is that they say, well, I'm an artist, I'm creative. I don't need to know how to do that business side of it. Be like, you're not going to last unless you do. And if you don't know how to do it yourself, reach out to somebody, and you're better off to pay somebody to handle that properly and not let that occupy all your time.
Yeah. And I think also the art, like I don't know if it's just me getting older, but I don't have as much of a, like I just understand it is like you're paying me to get something that you have to live with. Like, so it's, you have the final say. Like I detach myself, and I don't get emotionally messed up from those experiences anymore. I'm like, oh, it just is what it is. Like I've come to terms with that. I've got my little channels where it's, all right, maybe I'll commission someone to help me do something where it's like, I want the same thing. Where I'm like, this is how I would like it to look. So keeping them separate is the wisest move, I think. Like it just makes the art better.
And you've got to remember that when you're the artist and they're asking you to put out some work for them, you can do that. You can put your heart and soul into it, but then you move on to the next job tomorrow. They've got to look at that branding potentially for the next, or for maybe for 10 years. Yeah. So you've got to sort of go, all right, well, I can move on. I can let it go. I know it might hurt when you look at it and be like, they totally fucked those colors up and wasn't happy with this. They made it too busy with too much client interaction. I get that, but you don't have to look at it every day. They do.
Fully. And with that being said, sometimes what I've learned as well, that the client sometimes knows best. You are looking at it for like, usually they understand their brand better than you do. Also, they're probably older. Well, all the interactions I had, they're older, more senior business people. That sometimes their decisions help you. Like with the Nike thing, I had 2 designs, t-shirt designs, and one of them was like my favorite. Favorite design is might be on my website still, but never came out. And it says Nike, or in my letter characters. And one of the characters had like a little bit of cleavage. It was like it's a letter I, but it had a little cleavage. And they're like, can you remove that and really put the pressure to like, can you get rid of this? And I'm like, dude, this is just how it is. Like it's not it can't be sexual if it's a letter I. And also she's got like, it was just this weird debate that I stood tall on. And I was like, it's just the art. Like, I don't think it's that serious. And then they scrapped the design. And I remember being so distraught, like call my mum, pacing around the house. I'm like, I got the Nike. They pulled it, like, because they told me the day before the Australian Open where the t-shirts were being sold, they're like, yeah, we had to pull the design. And I'm like, no, it's because I tried to battle them on that. And then
I lost it over cleavage.
Yeah. And then what they ended up doing is, because we created an alphabet so people could at the Australian Open get their name printed in the letters, like whatever you want. I had a little Nike, like tennis Nike court, which is that tennis Nike logo. I did a kind of a colorful version of that. They just blew that up into a t-shirt. And Roger Federer ended up choosing that t-shirt to wear and was like plastered on all the Herald Sun, like newspapers, and just went nuts only because I tried to say that I knew best, over.
And you're happy with the result?
Well, it's awesome. Yeah, like, to be honest, it does look sick, but it wasn't at the time. I was like, what are you doing?
So
like,
do you think if you...
I spent ages. I spent like 2 weeks on that thing. So I'm like, and it's all happening in like, you had to bang out the whole project within a week or 2. And then it goes straight to the Australian Open. So it's all moving so fast, and I'm so emotionally invested in like drawing late night in making this artwork. And then so they pull it, the rug gets pulled from you, but then it goes bigger into this other thing.
So you think with the Nike that you created, you don't know if he would have chosen to wear that?
I don't think he wouldn't. He would have had, Roger Federer would have had his legal team and been like, dude, don't wear the letter I with the cleavage. Right. It was like, you're going to get cancelled, Roger.
So with working with Nike, I'd imagine that there's a lot of stipulations, a lot of this. Can they actually take your designs once you've submitted it and use them for other projects? Could they?
Nah, so that's like part of learning the business of illustration, where everything is licensed. So I'll give you these say you're Nike, I'll give you these 2 designs to be used only on the form of a t-shirt for the period of 6 weeks, whenever the Australian Open goes for, only used in Australia. So like anything outside that requires another license fee.
Right.
So it's like, you want to get that and put it on your billboard at the Australian Open, then we need to get another license fee for the billboard. And so that's how illustrators and stuff remain owners of their artworks forever and get paid. So if maybe they want to use those letters later down the track, you know, I don't have to draw it again, but you still get a license fee.
So say, and I know you can't speak specifically on individual cases, but just from a general perspective, say they're like, they retro some Jordan t-shirts which had comic book looking characters from the 90s. As long as that person has done their due diligence, they're going to get paid the royalties down the track.
Well, yeah, if they had in the initial briefing, initial contract, when they did business in the first time, if they put forward a license agreement, which most artists, unless you're if you're with an agency or an agent, they do this for you. I didn't have an agent, so we had to learn it. My boy Gim helped me, like, he's smarter than me, so he was helping me read I got the books.
So might have slipped it in, like, we own this in perpetuity.
Well, they say, can you draw these pictures, give us a t-shirt design. You give them a t-shirt design. There's no paperwork of anything. I guess you would have the copyright because it's your creation, but, you know, are you going to really fight Nike if they put it on a shoe and you're going to get a legal team and go toe-to-toe? Like, probably not. But if you have that contract, that is the only binding.
So when you sent them the contract, were they like, oh, really? We got to fill it?
Well, yeah, they're actually, apparently the Nike people had reached out to 2 other artists that were with an Australian agency. And there was too much back and forth because we needed to get the t-shirt designs done and at the Australian Open within like a 2-week period. There was too much red tape, I guess, to go with a signed artist, which worked in my favor because I didn't have agency representation. And I'm like, cool, I just kind of learnt this, so let's put it into practice. Like late nights, going through the books, just coming up with what I thought was my best version of.
Yeah, contract. And so in a perfect world or in an ideal scenario, Nike can reach out to you in 5 years' time. We love that. We want to do it again. Let's do it at Wimbledon or something like that. And that opens up a whole new
and I still
revenue
own those
stream.
letters.
Yeah.
And I can even sell those letters as my own stuff now. I can put them on my own hoodies.
But you couldn't say Nike though.
Couldn't say Nike, but I can use those however I want because they're my creations. Only because of that license agreement.
Puts you in an interesting. What if you put the letters of Nike around a different way? I wonder how they would take that. That'd be interesting, wouldn't it? Yeah, I don't think they'd like that, would they? Oh, that's super interesting though, man. Like, I think so many artists would just be so stoked to be involved that they would be like, "Yep, you own all the stuff."
You get that, yes, 100%. You do. As soon as you see those emails come through, you're like, "Oh, well, yeah, whatever you want." Like, stop my life. It's like it's huge. It's like they're big moments for artists that don't have that business, you know, savviness. Yeah. But it's brutal. It's a tough game. Like, so I'm sure it's same with acting, with music getting taken advantage of, but it is just murky waters.
So let's talk about the equipment, the hardware. So I'm guessing you use like a Wacom sort of thing?
Yeah, Wacom, just my laptop, Wacom laptop, mouse, little hotkeys, little shortcuts.
Illustrator?
Illustrator.
Procreate, is that?
Nah, no Procreate for me. I just trained Wacom onto the screen. So Photoshop and Illustrator is really my main two. I don't even go into anything else.
Right. But when you're typesetting a whole book for that...
that was my graphic design era where I'm out of that. Well,
where you were using InDesign?
Yeah, InDesign, which... Man, that was not fun. Ever typeset a whole book? It's just that was the first and last book I've ever done.
So many people say that, man.
I will never do that again. The fun bit doing the chapter pages of the book was fun because you can have like a little 2-page little. It was black and white, which took the fun out of it. But that at least the front cover and the chapter pages. But never would I typeset a book again.
It's a different kind of thing from the design world, isn't it? It's like I liken it to the people that are the real nerds of music that want to master something. Like they want to find that because it's not it's a different kind of
it's an art form in itself,
self,
which requires a certain type of person. But yeah, like type people that are obsessed with type and like composition of design and layouts, like that's their jam.
Yeah.
Which is not me.
Nah, and I feel like it's not the fun part of design, personally.
No, not for me, no.
So with that, so you haven't used Procreate or anything like that?
I've tried, played around with drawing on an iPad, but it just feels weird. Like, I even bought, like, the fake paper skin. It makes it feel like you're drawing on paper. Like, it's so slippery drawing on the glass. Mm-hmm. So you can buy films that you put over the glass. It kind of creates a little bit of friction that makes it feel a bit papery, but... No, I'm cool with I hand draw like letters and stuff, and scan them in, or I'll just Wacom it.
Yep. And so, what about with AI has come a long way in the last few years?
Yeah.
Have you has that impacted you? Do you think?
I embrace everything. Like I think it's the same as when our parents are like, "What the hell are you doing on MSN?" I'm like, "I'm talking to my friends." And like, "What do you mean you get a MySpace or what?" Like it just it's always moving, and the next generation again around it's like it just keeps evolving and growing. So I'm not too stressed about. Like to be honest, it's actually just helped me so much. Like as I was saying, I'm not big into writing and reading and some of those admin-y kind of sides to my business. ChatGPT and helps me out greatly. It helps me convey. I'm not the most articulate person, so it's like I can put my Nathan fucking language into ChatGPT and it spits it out as a professional business person should be, speaking, I guess. But so it helps me a lot, and like I use it to generate ideas as well, like visual ideas quickly and see what that would look like. Or
what kind of what model are you using for that?
It's called Open Art that I'll play around with just either compositions or ideas and then I'll go off and draw my own versions or pair 3 bits together and I like the cup of this one and the plant of this. And
so is that text to image or is it?
Yeah, you can do whatever. You can upload images, you can type in to it. And it just spits out there's different models you can click it on to like, you could get a hand-drawn style or like, yeah, just whatever, like 3D, hyper-realistic. Mm-hmm.
It's amazing how many artists are actually using it to help the process, which I think so many people think, they must hate this, but it's not the case.
The people that we were talking about before about contracts, agency, it's perfect. Like, you could get it to write, like, and even ask it, like, what should I be doing? Nike just reach out to me, they offer me this. What should I put back and it can guide you and by scouring the entire internet and help you at least where you lack. I think it's awesome.
Yeah, the whole AI things are totally like it's hard to get your head around because it is changing so quickly and it is happening. And I put a lot of time into researching, watching videos, and I don't really use it, but I just want to stay on top of it. And I think the conclusion I've drawn is that I think creatives are going to be better off in the long run. And people are all saying, all these artists are going to be this and that. I'm like, I don't necessarily think that. I think the white collar pencil pushers are the ones that are in real trouble, and the creatives are going to be in a little bit of people are going to care more about the human-made art.
Yeah, I think where culture is leaning to more towards organic, real content, like real things. Like even you see those hyper edited videos and stuff where you can just feel you can't really connect to it. With the highest viewed reel I have is just me walking around for 2 minutes in a gallery space, just talking, no editing, no nothing. It's like I think it's going towards real and honest human connections, which you can feel AI, you can feel it, like even in some of the stuff it writes back and or even the images it produced, you can just feel that. Again, all through feeling, like you can tell. But
it will get better, I feel. But at the same,
get smarter.
Yeah,
but, it's who knows where it does really go. But like, I was listening to something the other day. Like, I think Rick Rubin was saying, like, can AI create flight like the Wright brothers? Like, can it come up with something that's not even invented yet? Like that? No, it's resourced, pulling everything from what's already existing.
Yeah.
Can it create something brand new? The human element of pure creativity, like creation. Like, does it create a plane or whatever, like that actually flies and works or whatever? I don't know.
Yeah, because at the moment,
It's an interesting point.
It is. At the moment, we've got it. It's like you said, scours the internet and looks for everything that's been created before it, and then just really replicates that or takes what it can from that to make something somewhat new. It's not brand new. It's like, here's a bunch of this stuff put together. When it can invent things, that's almost scary, though.
We're done. We're finished.
I think, I remember listening to a podcast yesterday, and someone said, humans in trouble once AI gets to the point that, that it's taken over. And he said, no, because I liken it to, we could walk down the street and step on a whole bunch of ants and kick over an ant, and we wouldn't notice. Like, you don't even think about it. It's like when AI gets to that point, we're like the ants. Like, they're not going to be bothered with us because they're not thinking about us.
And I think also there's a little bit of element of, because we're the first ones alive whilst this is happening, there were like, there's big fear and all this worry. But like, once you're born into a generation that's already there, I don't think that even exists, like that fear. Whereas same with like the internet, everyone's like, oh, you're going to get scammed or you're this or whatever. It's just normal now. And it's like...
It is. It becomes normalised. Oh, I'm about 10 years older than you, and I started school, no one's got an email address. By the time you finish school, everyone's got an email address, like you said, MSN, all that sort of stuff. In the 90s, no one was internet banking. You wouldn't even, like, that was the last thing that you would do. No one trusted it. And everyone's like, the internet, I'm not getting around that, blah, blah, blah. Now, try and find someone who wouldn't internet bank in so you got to just roll with it. It's going to be there whether you like it or not.
That's the thing. What are you going to do? How are you going to fight the power? Like, this AI thing's learning 1 billion miles an hour. So
the scary thing is, though,
out of the bag.
Is for the next generation of, like, where are they going to go? Like, and I almost think if you want to be creative, that there's going to be more of a push for that, because if you're just doing something that could be automated down the track, well, like, that's a poor career choice.
Yeah, well, I think, like, anything can be glass half full, glass half empty type thing is how you want to look at it. But it's like, it could free you up. Well, for me, it's freed me up to do, I don't know, just more creativity. Like, I have more time to do art, which is awesome. And I can at least have a little business assistant to help me flesh out ideas. I'm like, it all depends how you look at it.
Yeah, I've been, like, saying I'm going to start to delve into it for like a year, but I still haven't, because I just don't want to tell it all this stuff, and then it's like, I don't know, man.
There is a fear there. I had that initially, and now I'm like, it knows too much now. Like it's a part of my little business flow, and I do kind of rely on it a little bit.
Yeah, and so many people are deep. I just feel like whenever you don't pay for something, you become the commodity, and then
I paid for it.
Yeah,
so
a lot
of
people. But what concerns me the most is that everybody thinks it's harmless. We train it to know everything about you, and then it just uses you as something to market to. Or even when you got kids, like, are those kids then going to have a profile so they're just marketed to for the rest of their life, which they probably fucking already are.
Yeah, well, man, look at flybys and all those, those cards or whatever. I'm pretty sure they track everything. Every time I hit my flybys at Coles, it knows every single purchase that I've done. And it's got a little profile.
When have you ever got anything out of that?
Nothing. Like, exactly. we just booked a holiday to Bali, and I'm like, done. I've been using flybys for like the last 2 years for like me and my partner's shops, and it's like, time to cash in, baby. And it's like, yeah, we'll give you like $20 off your flight. I'm like, what? For how? I've got 16,000 something points. They just confuse you with all these numbers, and you think you got. But no, there is definitely those concerns, and I think they are real concerns. But it's also, that's been happening for so long. Like with Facebook, like, look at everything's targeted. Anytime you're on Instagram or Facebook, it shows you an ad that's perfectly in line with what you like and want.
Know.
And then some people say that, would you rather see ads that have nothing to do with anything, or something that might actually help your life or whatever?
I'm all about, if you use something enough, subscribe to it, pay for it so you don't see the ads, but it doesn't always work like that. It does for YouTube. You can pay $22 a month. You don't get the ads.
I do know a hack for people out in the interwebs. If you get the Brave app on your phone, the
I've
browser,
got that,
and open YouTube, no ads ever.
Wow.
Hack.
Right.
And it changed my life, man. Those ads were getting to me. I could feel the little people in YouTube like turn up the dial of ads, and it was just like getting like 2 ads to the start, 3 in the middle, 2 at the end. So I'm like, I needed to figure our way out. So shout out Reddit.
Is that only on your phone? Does it work on your... Yeah.
Not on your TV. TV, I'm still trapped.
Yeah.
But
Pay $22 a month, man. It's worth it.
But you can Chromecast, screencast your laptop, whatever. But yeah, I know. But I guess how many bloody freaking things do we have?
Well, wait till you... Oh, man, I've got to pay for my kids' ones and my partner's ones.
Crazy.
And the...
But yeah, definitely. If you had kids, like, you want to avoid them seeing...
But the kids are YouTube kids doesn't have ads anyway. I don't think they're allowed to. No.
That's awesome.
But then, like, my son just got a new iPad and he's like, it doesn't have any of my good shows. I'm like, that's because you were using my iPad with the grown-up YouTube and he was getting, like, teenage content, which is not a thing.
Not a good idea, dude.
But that's another thing, man, like navigating this space to what direction a kid's going to go down now. We just don't know, man. It's a scary world.
It's crazy, but surely our parents were feeling like that. Each generation's feeling like, oh my God, what are we doing? Like the Jex Gen, like surely. I know it's amplifying and it's going fast. We're going faster and faster. But each generation, it's like, the hell, like my kid's on the internet. I grew up on the internet. My parents are probably like, what the hell is this kid doing? Like,
I think all kids now are going to grow up where AI, like any kid born after say 5 or 6 years ago, AI was used every day for their life. So all these people that are a bit older, like myself, will be like, well, we don't want to get down with this, but like, yeah.
It just seems a waste of energy and time to fight the ether, like the overall movement of the world. Like you're trying to stop just humankind. Like we just naturally progress and invent and go. We want to go get things done faster, less work, easier. You know, it's been that way from the beginning. A mobile phone, people were cut about that being like, it's an internet browser, it's a phone, it's an alarm clock, it's everything now. Now, so you're stuck on your phone. Like the old generation, you're always on your phone. It's just the next version of that.
Yeah, no, it's true. One positive I am taking from this is I think that long-form chats like this will be more looked up. Like people will look into that because it'll feel more real and it will be one of the only opportunities where you get to like, no, there's no AI. You know what I mean?
Yeah, fully. Well, we don't know. Like, cause some of the you can.
I know people can,
real good fake humans talking or whatever.
Which that's become scary as well.
It is
man.
creepy.
Yeah,
but
I know people.
I think it just becomes its own thing. Like real things have become real things, and like, cause for example, like you can have it. I think Cause did the exhibition inside Fortnite. Like there'll be things like that happening.
Yeah, metaverse stuff.
Yeah, but there'll also be like real things as well. And some people love being in the computers, in the bitbops, and then doing the things. So it's like some people like going to a footy game or like going out, or some people like something in real life or whatever it is. Well, I think it just creates more facets of opportunity and business in both ways.
Yeah, and when people are stuck on their computer in their metaverse, they are easy to control. And that's the concern. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If everyone's doing that and no one's questioning and they're just like, I need, cool, universal basic income's here, great, I can stay at home and play.
Plug in. Just get the food strapped up to like a little mouthpiece, be on a little hamster wheel.
Yeah, like Uber Eats coming in drones, you know what I mean? Like
it's Amazon,
the
anything
way
you want, same day.
Like that. Yeah, see, I'm so old-fashioned and I've never even done that Amazon thing.
Yeah.
And I just want to try and hold on as much as I can for my real world, what I was brought up like, you know?
Well, that sounds like our parents or your parents or whatever will be like, why you Uber Eats? Like that's a foreign thing to them. Yeah. Like even getting my mum to figure out how to use an actual Uber, like not calling a taxi. It blows them out. And like, oh, I can see where I'm going. I see who's picking me up. And so it's just move. Life keeps moving.
Yeah. The other day, my partner and I went out, and my mother-in-law was looking after our son, right? And we said we're going to go, and he wanted to order food, so we ordered food, and she's like, "Oh, I've got my card, or do you think he'll need cash?" And we're like, "No, we've done it through menu log. You don't need to do that." And that's that older generation.
Yeah, I've got my mum.
My card. Will they take card? And you're like, you don't. No, it's done.
Should we go up and order? I'm like, no, there's a QR code. What's that QR? What do you like? It is pretty funny to watch.
Sometimes, yeah. You didn't even pay for that Uber. You're like, no, we did.
We did. Yeah, we did.
It's a generational thing, but I think you're right. The next generation is going to grow up with that. That is just normal. But it's amazing, man. Like so many, like any kid I speak to, they say they want to be a YouTuber. Like that's like now when you were young and people would say, I want to be a musician, I want to be a basketball, I want to be a footy player. That's the thing.
That's what I'm saying about like with AI or whatever. These just new things pop up. Like a YouTuber was never a thing. A social media person was never a job. And it's like now we're going to have AI prompters.
Yeah.
People who can master how to communicate with certain AIs or whatever as professions. It's
Yeah.
like things just keep going.
The people that adapt will be fine, and the people that don't, they're the ones that are going to be. So if you're 40, 50, 60, you've had a white-collar job your whole life, you're not really great with adapting, you've just kind of got through, in the next few years, you're in big trouble.
Yeah, but also maybe in so much peace. Yeah. Maybe like, I don't even know what's going on in these things. You just go, still walk down, get your paper, have your cup of tea or whatever it is. Like maybe they've got out of the matrix. They've freed themselves.
Fuck, we went on a bit of a tangent there. Let's get
no,
but it's great.
Yeah.
Let's get back onto your journey. So, what would you suggest for young illustrators, artists to do if they were trying to make, like, obviously social media is huge, but to try and make a name for themselves, to kind of get their foot in the door? Because the hardest thing about any creative endeavor is sort of getting that first little shot, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a good question. So I think you got to find your unique voice or whatever you're passionate about. And I think that comes through just looking at more broader outside of creativity, just your life, like what you're into, what you like, what your upbringing was like, and like doubling down and infusing that into your work, however you can, like, whatever it is, your story.
So it's authentic.
Well, you just got to, you have to stand out. So you have to create something unique. And the only way to be something unique is to put yourself into that, because no one else is you. So once you do that, and to do that, I think you got to just make heaps of things. If you keep making numbers, it's a numbers game, just go crazy, make and put out as much as you can. And eventually something unique that's ownable to you feels like it comes out of that, like over time, but takes so long. It's just hours and hours and hours. So it's like, I guess I'll just say, put in the hour, like just pay your dues. Like I think you do have to just put in thousands and thousands of hours into this if you want to make it as your profession. But if you're happy just as your hobby thing, it's like, maybe that's even better. Like that could even be more freer and better as well. And there's no pressure in that side, but yeah.
And do you think that people that have the passion to be artists but aren't necessarily gifted can work on it and become?
I think they're the ones like that's me. Like I'm not the.
But you won a competition for drawing Spider-Man.
Yeah, but maybe they just gave it to me because I'm a little. They saw, oh, this guy's 6 years old. They felt like, oh, give him one or whatever. But and I'm just copying Spider-Man. I'm not purely coming up with the thing. But I think. It's actually the pure creatives. I think they're chill. Like it's the ones that come to the surface are the ones that are more businessy or like, they're putting themselves out there on social media and they're just like, comfortable doing in front of camera and doing all that XYZ, all that extra shit that no one really wants to do as a creative.
Yeah. And also not having a plan is detrimental, but obviously people get to where they do just by a whim and a prayer. But it is like, now that I'm older, I think it'd be so much more intelligent to have a plan and steps to get to where you want to get. Do you think that's true?
I've always just gone with the flow of everything. Like, as I was saying about just getting annoyed by the clients, and then like now I've wound up in art. I don't even think that this is my gift or like, this is what I'm meant to be doing, so to speak. But I think, and that's just been on no plan. There's not been too much of a plan. There's been, you feel a way, and then it's, all right, how do I make this tangible? Do you know what I mean? So then I'll come up with a plan. But I'll just be like, man, I'm just really annoyed doing this graphic design stuff. Like, then, all right, well, I don't want to do this. Maybe I'll start figuring out, on the fly. But I'm not sitting back going, how to become an artist. Do you know what I mean? It's a bit of, I'm not too sure. I just go off feeling and then build plans around how I'm feeling.
Do you have an end goal?
Yeah. The success to me is just peace of mind. Like I want to just be able to wake up and be peaceful. Like I want to, as much as I want to be successful and hustle and get and climb, do big exhibitions, have my own clothing brand, have my own like little sculptures and toys and things. I think above all is just like be a good person and at least sleep well at night is true success. I know that. But then other than that, I'm sitting on like 4 or 5 exhibitions completed now. It's just a part of getting the funds to bring them to life, which I'm working on now. And I'm like, I want to be an artist that, as we were saying, like I don't really want to do too many group show, like all this extra. I just want to create an experience through an exhibition, like one space designed and just express myself in holistic exhibitions. And I want to do a series of them, and make clothes. Really. Yeah.
So you want to be able to have free reign of a large space that you can make as a whole experience.
Yeah, because I think that's the only way to like flesh out what I'm feeling or thinking at the time, like that. Yeah, it just feels like it's completed, and I can tie it up in a little bow and leave it there and go on to something else. Like
that's the last record, we're on to the new one.
Yeah, like I want to be. If you're a music person, like I want to be an album artist, not like doing singles and whatever. Like,
yeah. And we live in a day and age now where people just put out a song. Here's a song. Here's the song.
Like, you remember the feeling you got from certain albums, like start to finish. If it just hits and it's
cohesive.
Like, and you've taken to another world or whatever. Like that's the type of artist that I want to be. Is like, and I'm visual, so it has to be in the form of a physical space, which can have furniture in there and clothing in there, like design the whole the merchandise come with that, the artworks, the sculptures, little experience. Like that's how I'm playing it. So it's just be quiet, work hard. Once I get my funds to the point, then execute the things that have been. I'm just trying to make my younger kid dreams come to fruition.
Tick those things off.
Yeah, like it's why it's like when it even happens, I'm like, I've already seen this so many times in my head, like with the last exhibition, like as I was saying, that drawing from the Uber or whatever, it's the exact same thing when it's in real life. It doesn't even feel that like crazy. I'm like, finally, I just did the thing. And that's all I'm doing is like my clothing brand that I started in 2011 it's just, there's design, there's a catalog of designs. I'm just being patient, I think, is the hardest bit for me, and picking the right times to, I guess that's where I'm a little bit planned in the trajectory of things is like, it was always Smile first, and I know what's happened. Smile 2 it'll have a slightly different name for the second exhibition, then maybe start working on my clothes. Like there is some sort of a rough plan, but you kind of freestyle amongst the goalposts over there, but how I get there is like this.
So you need the funds to execute the next
to how I want, like to the level.
Because I'm sure there'll be some galleries that come to the table, but you want to be able to do it.
Oh, it's not like it doesn't seem to be. I'm not from the art world. Like my parents and stuff. Like we're not art like I'm not an art type, so I don't get the gallery system too much. But it's not like it seems to me. It's not like music where you can get a record deal and you get here's your money up front. Yeah, you got to pay it back in the sales of your thing. That would be a cool idea for artists, where it's like we'll fund it's pretty much a record deal for visual art, which would be a cool idea. And I always thought about why don't we have that? But
you can build to the point that you can start doing that and taking artists in.
Yeah, I honestly do think like if I do get big, I start thinking of things to make it easier for artists to come up. Like if once I get my own studios, well, I do have my own studio space, but the one I'm dreaming of, where I've got like the gallery at the bottom, my all my clothes racks, my almost clothing store at the bottom, that doubles as a gallery. Give my artist friends, the exhibitions, and work from my studio above it, type thing, and like then start working, kind of figuring out. Almost you could create like a little budget that you're like, here's your upfront thing, and then when the thing sells, but you got to really back. You got to back the artist. Same with like a But I'm not Sony or whatever. But yeah.
Yeah, and I think there are certain artists that do that try and help people. Other artists come up. It definitely does happen. But I guess to do it in the capacity that you're not about making money. But the thing is, like, overheads of rent and that, it's a real hard one to negotiate.
That's what I'm thinking. Like, the only way I could do it is if it doubled as a storefront. Like, I was selling my clothes and stuff through it, and then but everything's on wheels and you can wheel it out. Set up the gallery and wheel it back down, or something like that. This is fucking 20 years, 10 years down the track.
Yeah, but that's the thing. I've got a similar sort of idea that I want to get to with this thing down the track as well. Gallery space, sort of retail-ish, but also, podcast studio, recording studio, all that sort of stuff encompassed in one big creative spot. That's what I want to do. How we get there, I don't know, but it's a great idea.
It's so dope. Yeah, man. Like, I've gone deep with my thoughts of what I want to do. Like, even my warehouse where I'll have the clothes, I want to have a rope swing with a ball pit. The big but squishy foam pit. But each of the squishy foam things are squishy letter characters of the thing. And I'd have maybe a recording studio up there for my friends that rap and stuff. So just kind of create a little bit of a vibe, almost like just a little community of your people that are all creating. And I've got friends and personal trainers, set up a bit of a gym in there, and do a bit of a community based kind of thing. Just cool shit going on.
So what's next for you? The Smile 2?
Well, that's happening. But actually, which I was supposed to give this to you early on, I did come bearing gifts.
Oh man.
I don't know. We're supposed to air out young Mac Measy's name.
That's all right. Yeah. So wow, man.
I made him.
Fuck, that's epic.
I know he's what, six
Yeah,
years
just
old?
turned 6.
Yeah, so I've just launched. This is. I'll be pressing go on the site. This episode comes out Sunday, right?
Yep.
This will be up on 9. So I've created almost, Nike ID.
Yep.
Where you can design your own sneakers. So we really little thing. So I'll give you that to you.
Thanks, man.
And happy birthday to Mac, man.
Cheers.
And of course, I made you a little one as well.
Oh, dude.
We got father and son.
Oh, thanks,
Easy.
man.
Son's
So
the
that's
one.
printed.
So I'll explain.
Yeah.
So the setup is I've just spent the last 6 months building almost like the web infrastructure. So you can customize. You can type in your name, for example, Mac. Choose the background color. Choose the pattern color. Choose what size canvas you want. It's all online. So you pretty much create it yourself. And then it's a commission, essentially. And I'll draw your name with your colors selected and whatever and produce your one-of-one artwork.
Oh, wow.
So, I spent a lot of time doing that and just
So the
figuring out-
letters aren't cut and paste. You're going to individually draw each letter?
Some. So I've got an archive and then some I will be building to them. But if some work perfectly for the thing, it'll be a bit of mix and match. I'll obviously be adding to the archive as I go. And you can even select if you want little smoke cloud or stars or I think just other little features, halos and if you are watching and you want to check it out, it will be launched. You can have a play around. I want to get
the link will be in the description.
if we can do that, that would be cool. So we got them, and you can get it as a canvas print. You can get it as a Gickley print, A3, A2, whatever. Even custom shape frames that I do. But it's a bit more, it's just it's my way of having a streamlined commissioning process, really.
Yeah.
Rather than, because if someone commissions me, there's 5 or 6 back and forths, and it's trying to get your idea, but now it's already in. You almost create a brief of this is exactly what I want, and it's just fun. I realize a lot of people just, work their normal jobs, and it's just there's an opportunity to be creative and play around with colors and create something that's a bit more personal. And I think that's, as we were saying, is where we're going with you just want your own cool shit. So just we'll chuck the link in the bar. But
amazing gift for people, man.
Yeah, that's the other thing for
Thank you.
You're right, man. Because you can get little ones as well if you got a little birthday or something. Oh, and I forgot to show you. This is for you as well, but so the artworks come with what is it? I got some stickers for you, kid. They come with these cool. Remember, Tarzos?
Yeah.
As a kid, a little lenticular.
What are that? What's that actually called? That sort of
Lenticular.
lenticular.
Yeah. So it's how it works is it's almost like corduroy, and they print one picture on one side of the corduroy, and the other side on the other. If that makes sense, it's like ribbing. And so when you tilt it, so up and down, go that way, you can see it shows two different images.
Yeah. Sick, man.
Yeah, and I got some stickers for your kid and whatever
man,
else. But
you're too generous.
Yeah, man. I'm just grateful for you to have me on the show, man. Like, you got some big acts, and like you're coming up quick. Like, it's been cool to watch, man. And just grateful for the opportunity.
Yeah, no, always. I love getting artists on and hearing their different takes. And we're in a really interesting time for artists with the whole AI thing, but also with times are tough. Like, I know a lot of tattoo artists are doing it tough. I'm sure a lot of commission artists are doing it tough. So it is a really trying time for artists. So I want to try and get as many people on that, you know, that can tell their story, and other artists can aspire to, you know, to see that, you know what I mean? Because a lot of people see artists and be like, wow, they're so famous and big and they've got so many, but hearing their struggles makes it more real, and people go, oh, I can actually do that. Fully.
And like, yeah, as you say, like, shit is wild out there right now. So as well, like, also don't mean to be pushy with my product or whatever, because I know shit is rough for a lot of people out there. But yeah, man, it's good to get those real long form organic conversations. To see shit is difficult. Like, this is not easy. And like, there's not many opportunities for people, like podcasts, to jump on and share these stories. So it's really awesome that you're giving people a platform to share these stories.
Oh man, don't give me any credit. It's all about the people on the show and them getting their stories out. And as much as I do want to platform people that have quite a profile, I'm also pretty interested to give people that maybe don't have an opportunity a chance to share their story as well. And whether or not that results in them getting anything more out of it, at least they got to get their story out, you know?
Fully. And that's how we connect as people, through conversation and like keep real or wholesome like stories. And I think it does lighten the burden of life, man. You're looking on Instagram, you're seeing the best photo of every artist on everything. It's like, it's so calculated and so like controlled, that having these long form does give us balance. And I think we need more of it. Like, it's still, you know, leaning heavily this side, but you're helping it swing back the other way.
For sure. And that's another reason why I don't want to edit them too much, because we moving away from that AI stuff and everything that's overly polished, when you edit too much, you don't see the realness. No. So if it's just exactly how it, like, I won't chop anything out or cut out boring bits, even if sometimes maybe I should, just because I want it to be as organic and as natural as possible if people were just sitting here.
Dude, that's awesome. And I think, I do notice those things. I notice cuts in people's podcasts that I'll watch. You just go, and like, person's over here all of a sudden. I'm like, wonder what they said there. And then a little bit of distrust begins to plant. I'm like, well, like,
I will do that if somebody says, actually, I can't do that, or I shouldn't have said that, or that's not going to go down well. I always do that. I've never put anything out that anyone wouldn't want out, but I try not to. And I try and avoid sending people. They're like, oh, send it to me so I can watch it first. I'm like, when you do that, people go, I said too many times. And like, well, that's how you talk.
I don't even want to look at this thing. Once it goes out, I'm just like, I just put it out. Whatever happens, happens. Type thing. I don't know about people trying to, what are they going to do? Micro edit? You're like, hey, do this, make like.
That's why I don't do it anymore. That's why I don't do it anymore, man. Nah, you don't want to do that.
This is what it is.
But I'd never, like I said, I'd never air anything that people didn't want, and that's not what it's about. But man, I'd love to get you back when we're only a couple of weeks away from doing the full studio reno, where I'll be able to have sort of more roundtable chat. So it'd be cool to get you in, maybe some other artists, and we can just shoot the shit about art in general, about creativity, about all that sort of stuff.
That would be sick, man. I'm so pumped to see this new space.
Yeah.
It already looks crazy, but it'll look even more crazy.
It'll look different, and it'll just be a little bit more functional, and I'll be utilizing the space more. We won't have a mini ramp pushed up against the wall there. Like things like that are kind of just, it's a poor use of space at the moment. So I will fix that up. But I'd really love to get, like, say from an artistic perspective, to get, say, 3 generations of artists in. So say maybe someone who's still young in their sort of teen years, someone like you who's in your 30s, then maybe someone who's in their 50s. So then you could all have a chat about how you're using AI, how you're navigating this. You know what I mean? That'd be really cool.
Dude. Yeah, I'll be down for that, man. I really appreciate like conversation. Like, it does help like get you a broader understanding.
For sure. Nathan Nankervis. Nate, thanks for coming in, man. It's been a great chat,
dude.
and thanks for the awesome
Yeah,
gifts.
man. I hope he likes it, man. Like honestly, yeah. Hopefully he likes red.
Yeah, man, red and blue, but there's a little bit of blue in there. But man, I'm sure he'll love it. You know what he'll really love though? The flames.
Dude, yeah, who doesn't like flames?
Well, yeah,
man?
because like you know the Thrasher tees with the flames on it.
Yeah, that's
he's like, yeah, I love the flames. So yeah, he will like it. The bright red too, man.
So dope, man. Well, happy birthday to him, and thanks again, man.
All right, cheers.
Peace.